Hello and welcome everybody to Haylett RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd. This is a 1996 National RV Dolphin 353. It is also somewhere between a TLC special and a Handyman special.
Handyman special.
It is not in flawless condition. It is being sold as is, where is, how is. I'm going to show you the known defects with this RV that I've been able to detect or have relayed to me so that you can make an educated purchase decision. We're going to look at those first. Then if you're still with us, we'll look at everything else because there's still plenty of good here. The folks who just traded this in used it almost every single weekend. It runs, it drives, it's got some serious points of concern, but it's not dead. So whether it's big stuff or little stuff, I'm going to make a pass through this RV in and out and first just point out all the areas of concern. Let's try to get this all out of the way. If this is going to be a disqualifier, let's find out now that, before you drive 4 hours to get here. For instance, like I swear, like almost every motorhome, there's been some little bump on the rear corner. They're just so big and so large, sometimes they get away from you. It looks like, obviously, that rear ladder got bent up with it. That being said, I've been up and down that ladder 2 times, and I'm going to get back up and down that thing a 3rd time before we're done here. And even though it's a little tight, you got to do some American Ninja Warrior toe holds on that thing. It's still weight bearing. I've been up and down it a few times. We've got good skirt storage here, but some of the gas struts are either missing or just are a little bit tired. So the doors that are holding themselves open, hold themselves open. The ones that don't, well, they don't for one reason or another. I have noticed several different tires on the RV. I've noticed that some are definitely newer than others, and I suspect that they were replaced as they needed to be. This one, if you were planning on actually really driving the RV seriously, I would definitely recommend back here on this tag axle getting that replaced. You see, the majority of the tires actually look pretty decent, but there's definitely been a couple that they could probably use some replacing. Up by the front of the RV, I noticed a point right here. You see that horizontal line? That looks like a spot of delamination there, and in point of fact, this RV has experienced some leaks in the past. The roof has actually been seal coated to arrest that, but unfortunately it has left a little bit of a mark through the RV. You see, there's definitely some sun fade, some sun kissing. It could use a general cleaning. I don't think that's not a big concern. That's the little stuff. But like the slide awning up here, it's frayed. It's starting to flap in the breeze a little bit. It's still pretty much holding on. You have to decide how important that is to you. Some folks will just tend to cut those off when it gets to the point. And one of, I think, several major areas of concern here is that the slide out has had some work done on it, and absolutely, folks, is in need of more work. It is basically, we're looking at open seams that were effectively like seal tape shut, although the seal tape has rubbed off from the slide seals over time. And you can see a little bit of where that has caused a little bit of damage down here. You can also see how it's been, affecting this from the inside. It probably is in need of a slide repair kit, although it is, everything I'm looking at is solid. It just definitely needs something to seal that up and lash that back together. That is happening on both sides of the slide out. Again, I'm going to pull absolutely no punches here. I want you to understand exactly what you're getting into before you get here. I will say, I mean, I hate what I'm looking at, but it's all solid. So I'm surprised it's not more advanced overall. That actually really surprises me. Again, couple gas struts are a little tired here and there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 little different tires. And another major point of concern and consideration here. The engine runs and drives fine. The generator, not so much. I have been advised the generator is non-operational at this time. A couple, looks like, cracked marker lights there, probably from doing what I just did by lifting that baggage door up further than it was intended to because the gas strut is not currently holding and attached. So that's what I'm seeing here from ground level. Let's hop upstairs. So the first and most obvious thing are those AC shrouds, or maybe it's more appropriate to say the lack thereof. The front shroud, obviously the weather has gotten to it, a little bit of wind, and it's starting to flake apart. The rear shroud is obviously far further along the way, to the tune of, I think it's pretty fair to say it just doesn't exist anymore. The entire roof has been seal coated. You can see how it, it kind of layers over top of everything. You can see it on those max air vents where it was brushed down a little bit, because there have been a couple leak spots in the roofing of this. It's not enough that like I can show you on camera, but there's like a soft spot there, there's a minor soft spot up there, there's another one up front. When I walk around specific areas of this roof, I can feel them. I can feel that that's buckling under my feet a little bit. Buckling is a severe word, maybe. I can just feel that it's squishy, moonwalky, if you will. There's another spot of it over here, and then there's another one up by the nose. The RV has had a couple leaks over time. I'm not going to hide this stuff from you. There's no Carfax from camping, but that doesn't mean that somebody should try to hide this stuff from you. That is not the kind of business I do, and that is not the kind of business Haylett RV does. So, a little bit of leaks on the roof. What do we see on the inside if we hop in there? Oh, by the way, that used to be a solar panel battery trickle charger, but she gone. Well, starting from the top and working my way around, I'd say all the time in my used RV videos, these soft touch ceiling liners are good, not just for cutting down the noise, which, good Lord, it was loud right up there by the road. But if there ever has been water inside, it will stain these liners. And there's no getting rid of that. I've yet to find a specific cleanser or substance that you can spray on it that'll get rid of that. And especially if you try to scrub it off, you're going to shred, you're going to pull apart all this stuff. So you can see where there's been spots. That being said, they're not soft. What I see up front here, where we saw that spot of delamination, it looks like this has been affected, although it looks like maybe there's been a little paint put over that just to help kind of clean it up a little bit. I see a little bit of braille bumps over there, which mean a couple mold spores. And if I look down here, I see something similar. I see some braille bump on the walls right there, which once again means there has been water in that wall. It got trapped in there. It tried to work its way out, which ends up creating a mold spore, and then you end up with, again, what I call braille bumps. Also, since there has been a little bit of water up here, I do see some signature of that along the woodwork. Again, it's cosmetic. This is still pretty solid, but you deserve to know about this stuff. Again, whether it's big or small, in between, I'm going to do everything I can to let you know everything I can find in this, good, bad, ugly, or otherwise. Now, we looked at those spots on the slide floor outside, and that sofa is basically bolted down because there's seat belts under it, so I can't really get under there. But what I have done is I have kind of boot stomp walked I've done the boot stomp boogie all the way around, and I've tapped all the way around the header up here, and as well as down the slide fascia. I haven't found any problems there. A little bit of discoloration on the floor, which indicates there has been some level of moisture collection there. A little bit of swollen wood supports that theory. And then I got in here and I did some hacksaw Jim Duggan power stomps. And she appears to be pretty solid. I'm actually surprised with what I saw from the slide on the outside. I'm a little bit surprised that it's not more advanced potential water damage and penetration. It almost makes me wonder if the previous folks, they obviously kept it stored with the slide closed most of the time to keep it away from the weather, but I wonder if they were very careful about camping with it when it was inclement outside. Like maybe they brought their slides in when it was raining just to prevent damage. I've seen people do things like that before. And I suspect there's been potentially a replaced air conditioner seal gasket at some point, because this looks very much like water signature that came in from around an air conditioner. Once again, the roofing is still solid. It's a big, thick laminated roof. I just noticed that missing light cover right there. I was so busy focused on the big structural stuff, I didn't catch that my first pass through. It's there. Again, it's discolored. It's been resealed from the outside as we saw, and it does work its way up here into the bedroom a little bit. Again, pretty minor. But what seems minor to me may seem major to you. And it's your money buying the RV, not my money. So it really needs to be, your decision and your impression on what might be a deal breaker and what might not be. A little more up there by that skylight too. We are trying to be fair given its condition. We understand it's not perfect. It does run, it does drive. The folks, again, used it almost every weekend. It is totally camp capable. 100% of the RV's original systems, functions, and integrity may not necessarily be there, but even if this thing is, say, at 70%, that's still on the level, say, of like a towable RV. This one is just one that you don't have to hitch up to, that you just get to drive it down the road. So if you're still with us, you're saying, well, for the right money, I might still be interested. What else you got in this thing? And the good news is I think there's actually plenty of redeeming quality here. There's just some major things I really felt duty bound to make sure you're aware of before we got any further along. And if that kind of ends the video for you right there, you're like, nah, too much. I've seen too much. I know too much about this thing. At the very least, hit that subscribe button and join us here, knowing that we will not give you the runaround when we have something that needs work. We will put that out there. We will disclose that without question. So if you watch one of our videos where we don't say stuff, either I missed something, which happens, not commonly, or it just doesn't need any work, which is usually the case. Notice the folks put down some of that kind of sticky plastic flooring cover stuff, which is actually, depending on the season, a nice way to keep, extra dirt and particulate stuff from getting tracked through your RV. It is 2 air conditioners. My understanding is, other than the things that I've mentioned, I've been advised the major systems are in good working order. Now, that being said, again, this is being purchased as is, where is, how is. I hope you understand at this point. I've really tried to pull no punches to be very fair about what it is not. The microwave might work today, and it might not work tomorrow, and you will own a non-working microwave. I just want to be totally crystal clear and transparent on that. If that is not a situation that's comfortable for you, I don't recommend purchasing this specific RV. You see how, like a lot of people, the classic big, thick, heavy, gonna fall and crush your head entertainment centers have been replaced by a nice little flat screen right here. This is one of the classic designs where the driver could still be distracted by the TV in transit, which obviously not something that you want to be doing here. I noticed over here, we've got our, power mirror controls as well as the power gear landing system all available right there. There is a Primus IQ brake controller installed right there. Is that a IQ or is that a Prodigy P2? Hold on. Prodigy's just a little bit nicer. Nope, that is a Primus IQ. Okay, so there's a brake controller installed. Should you plan to put a little towed behind you, which is a vehicle that you have towed behind you. A little one of those little jargon things in the RV industry. Looks like they did a little bit of restructuring there. I missed that for the crank-up TV antenna, which makes me think if they took the time and effort to do that, it's probably in working order. Again, I've been advised things like our kitchen appliances are in working order. I haven't tested it personally. Before we put pen to paper, it is absolutely reasonable to request. If you're saying, okay, I'm willing to purchase it on the condition that I get to see what's working, what is not before I'm committed to something. That's perfectly reasonable. We're not crazy folks. We're not expecting you to buy something like this with known rough history on pure blind faith. Just give our team a call. Give us a chance. Assuming that things are as presented here, I would purchase it on condition that I get a chance to review the RV personally before I take it home. That's reasonable stuff. It's like real estate. I want to have an inspection performed before I complete a purchase on the house. That's not crazy stuff by any stretch. Although, man, I'll tell you what, some serious storage over here. I like all that space. Let me actually crack a little bit of that open for you. That is a big closet. This whole hallway is just nothing but closet and dresser drawer space. Holy cow, look at all that. That's a lot. Actually, it continues around the corner here a little bit too. You can see that there's an extra closet down here below the entertainment area. Well, what would have classically been the entertainment center. And now you folks are very lucky today. Because of this massively mirrored headboard, you get a good look at my chicken legs. Captain Chicken Legs over here. If there's one thing I got a weird bulbousy dad bod, but I got some toothpick legs, baby. They do me some good work on the treadmill, though. Nice north-south. I believe that's a True Queen walk-around bed. One of the nice things about a walk-around bed like that is that it's a lot easier to make True Queen bedding rather than the short RV bedding that a lot of things have. Now, when we began our journey together, I jumped all over the outside here just for the sake of being complete. I'm just going to do kind of a quick pass around the exterior of her, just so that you can get a good idea of what we are looking at here in its entirety. I will say, watch your head when you're climbing under that slide. I didn't crack my head, but I came darn close. Now, it should go without saying, something of this age, there's a little bit of weathering on those decals, but frankly, I'm impressed with how well all that's held up. I really would have expected a heck of a lot worse on those. I also like all the little mini awnings over like all the windows and stuff. So if it's like a rainy day, you can keep all your windows open, keep some good airflow rolling through the house here. Now something like this, well, you know, just given its age, I probably wouldn't tow much more than just a small enclosed trailer or a car behind it. She's had a lot of good use. I don't feel like it's something you want to put a lot of heavy stress on, maybe 5,000 pounds or less. We got ourselves a nice Jake break happening in the distance there, don't we? So thank you very much for joining us. If what you've seen here kind of disqualifies this RV for you, I totally respect it. And please appreciate the fact we went out of our way to show you everything that's not awesome with it, so that you always know you can purchase with integrity from our family-owned and operated facility. If you appreciate that, at least hit the like button on the video, subscribe and join us if you haven't, and know that we'll always give you straight facts, even when they're not always pretty things here at Haylett RV. So as always, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone.